Hey y'all, happy Monday. I hope everyone is doing well. This is being recorded on Sunday night, but being posted on Monday. I hope everybody is doing well. I hope you've had a good week. So I did want to start by pulling two cards. And when I was meditating before the reading, I got the phrase, why right now? So the card that I pulled first was the Awakening card. And on the card it says, energetic upgrades, a new way of being, integration. And so this woman is kind of free falling. I'm just hearing surrendering. I first want to thank everybody who's tuning in, and I also want to thank your guides for the messages that will be filtered through the reading today. And I really hope that everything that is channeled is for your highest good. Whatever is not for you, don't try to force it. Take what fits and leave the rest. Everything that I say here is for you to tap into your own gut feelings. So whatever comes up for you is what is for you, okay? All right, so the other card that we have is Beautiful. And this is a card, it's an archetype card. These archetype cards I've had since college, and you can get a chance to write one of them, to write on a few of them, to write something in. And I wrote Beautiful. And for the light attributes, I wrote Seeing Beauty in Everything. And for the shadow attributes, I wrote Keeping Beauty to Self. So what's coming up right now, especially with this Awakening card and just with the phrase, why right now? So many of us, and if you're watching this video, you're probably one of the people that has been going through a lot of energetic shifts lately. But right now, you might be feeling as though you are right on the brink of something. So maybe not even necessarily like in the thick of it. You may be in the thick of it, but what I'm really feeling is that for a lot of us watching, almost as though you are learning how to navigate this new space within yourself and this awakening that you are having, but you still have a lot of questions as far as why, like the purpose of it, trying to figure out like what the purpose of everything is. And I'm getting a part of the purpose is that you are a rare person that is able to find the light in almost anything, to be able to find the beauty within almost anything. And people like you are people that really energetically shift rooms, raise vibrations, impact others and spaces in ways that I feel that this awakening is helping you to eventually be able to fully understand. Because in that, there's a lot of power, and in that, there's a lot of deep understanding about yourself that is necessary for you to fully understand, or at least have this innate sense of, as you move into the next phase of your journey. Right now, I'm just seeing like people screaming in this way of like purging out these things that you've been working to purge out for such a long time. And through this awakening, you are starting to be conscious of ways that you have shown up in the world that you might not necessarily have been conscious of, but now you're starting to be more aware of your shadows, aware of the ways that you may have given your power away, the ways that you might not yet be living in alignment with who you know that you are, even if this is still a subconscious thing that you're processing. I feel like there's so many things that are bubbling up to the surface in order to come out. There's this image that's coming up for me that there was a video that somebody put on YouTube, and there's a dirty cup of water, and they said this is the representation of healing. And so they put the cup of water under the sink, and they're just pouring in, filtering in clean water as the dirty water is rising up and coming out. And it takes a while for all of the dirty water to eventually come up and out of the cup, but it does. And I feel like this is representing a lot of this internal chaos that you are feeling, where there's so much bubbling up and there's so much, for better lack of word, dirty water that you are pouring new habits into, pouring these new ways of being into. You're learning how to integrate these new concepts, but you might be feeling as though you are not getting any traction, or that there is not a shift happening. But your spirit team really wants you to know that it is happening. Shifts are happening. And as you continue to learn dedication and devotion and commitment to the things that you know work for you, as you continue to pour this clean water into the dirty water and allow all of the dirty water to eventually be cleared out, you will then have a greater sense of who you are and what you are here to do. Because in 2025, we are really moving into a new era that is being created right now. Like, we are actively creating it. And before the shifts start to happen really on a collective level, they're happening on an individual level. And I feel like a part of that is for us to finally start to understand what our gifts are. So as we move into this collective awakening, we kind of have a better sense of who we are and what we bring to the table in order to support one another as we navigate these collective shifts that are coming. Because we are about to experience some things that are very new, and some of those things are really exciting. Some of those things might feel scary, but I really am feeling, I'm seeing like 10 of Cups that has this image, but there's just like a whole bunch of people like celebrating. There's like a rainbow of just like celebration, and that's really what I'm seeing, is just like the vibes at the end of The Wiz, like when they're all celebrating and there's this moment of everyone realizing like, damn, we've been through a lot. We've been through a lot of shit, but we're gonna get to a point where we understand individually and collectively what it was all for. Which takes us back to the question, why now? Or it takes me back to the question, why now? And I feel like these energetic shifts are happening individually now, because collectively there are about to be these big, massive shifts happening. And in order for those shifts to happen, there are many of us that are waking up to our gifts, waking up to our purpose, waking up to our authenticity, so that we can start to attract in the people, places, things that actually align with us as we are making this I was gonna say integrated shift, as we are making this collective integrated shift, like we are learning these really important things about ourselves. And I feel like we've been learning a lot about ourselves lately and taking in new information and working through old patterns and old habits and all that. But I feel like now is really the time for us to start to devote ourselves to what we're learning about ourselves and to really anchor in to the new self-knowledge that we have, and trust that the discomfort that we feel is not because we are, sorry, I feel like I'm about to sneeze. It's not because we are doing the wrong thing, but just because I'm losing what I just had. Because I started to wonder, I know that there's a spiritual meaning to sneezing, and I'm gonna look it up. Okay, so I looked it up. The discomfort is not because you're doing the wrong thing. The discomfort is because you are releasing things that you've been holding on to for such a long time. And those things bring comfort because even something that is negative for you can bring a sense of comfort and a false sense of peace, because it is something that it's possible to have a false sense of security. It's something that you can rely on. But the sneezing, I thought was really interesting that it was coming up at that point. And it's funny because I actually felt this as it was happening, which is why I looked it up. But sneezing can be a sign of clearing out negative energy, warding off evil spirits, like really clearing out the dirty water, which is literally, what sneezing is trying to get toxins from within you out. And that's what we are doing individually, collectively. We are clearing out this dirty water. And there are so many people that are getting like pneumonia, which, like, if you are one of those people, sending you so much love. But I really feel like these illnesses that are coming up right now and the way that people are getting sick, a big part of it is this clearing out of things that we've just been holding on to for such a long time. Things that have not been serving us for such a long time. Okay. Okay, so the two cards that I just pulled, one is Femme Fatale, highlights the erotic energy of the feminine, opens your heart when your dependency is rejected. Hermit, seeks solitude to focus intently on inner life, serves personal creativity. So the Barbie movie is coming up for me. I just saw the Barbie movie for the first time. I didn't get to see it in theaters, so I just saw it on Netflix, and it's just been really honestly on my mind ever since. And I feel like there are so many divine feminines right now, people that connect to their feminine energy, who are really tapping into this deep, erotic, curious well that we almost like didn't really have access to in the past. Didn't have access to without shame, didn't have access to without judgment. And I know there are so many people that have been in this hermit mode, this mode of really being alone and discovering things about yourself. And I feel like for a lot of people, and this doesn't necessarily have to just apply to divine feminines, but I think there is something really powerful happening within the divine feminine energy on the planet, where we have been in this hermit mode, and we have learned things about ourselves and discovered these blocks within ourselves. And there's so much that comes up around shame and this connection to our sexuality, and how we have had to give so much of our power away in so many different ways. I mean, there's literally, I mean, I could do a billion 5-hour videos on this, but like, how I feel like this is tying into what's coming up right now is that I feel like there are so many divine feminines that are really being unapologetic about what we know that we deserve and what we know that is rightfully ours, and reclaiming what is rightfully ours and standing strong in that, because we've gone through the shadows, we've done so much work within ourselves, and I feel like a part of what we are finding is that we collectively, the feminine energy has been so blocked, so misunderstood, so misconstrued, so outcasted, so disrespected. And I really feel like a big part of this awakening for so many divine feminines is really tapping into this deep well of creativity and sexuality and eroticism, and allowing ourselves to discover what's there. And I think it's really deep because I'm definitely on that journey, and I don't have the answers, but I know that it's something that's coming up, not only for me, but for other people as well. Okay, so this trust and faith card was at the bottom of the deck for my past life cards, and there's a woman here who might be a religious figure. I'm not sure. If she is, y'all tell me in the comments. I'm not totally sure. She almost looks like the Statue of Liberty, but I don't think that's Lady Lib. But there's this light here, trust and faith, and she's completely like in the dark. She's in the shadows, but there's this light that's peeking through. There's this faith and this hope and this trust that we are being asked to really have and to tap into, and to understand that on the other side of all this discomfort and curiosity and making new choices and doing the work to consistently allow these new patterns to show up for us, we are being asked to have faith and to have trust and to continue on the path even when it feels difficult, because it will feel difficult because there's so much new happening. But just because it feels uncomfortable doesn't mean it's wrong. Just because it feels uncomfortable doesn't mean it's wrong. And I'm just getting that so strongly that somebody really needs to hear that. Trust that the work that you've been putting in, there's light coming through. There's immense light coming through that has been there the whole time. But as we dig deep into these blockages, into these patterns and things that no longer serve us, we are being asked to have faith as we clear out this dirty water, because it's not always going to be pretty. Healing is not linear. We will be triggered again. We will, think that we've gotten to this space and then something comes along and just like sets us off. Like, we are being asked to continue to walk with faith and trust that on the other side of the discomfort, if we are leaning into our authentic selves, leaning into our deepest desires, our truest heart's desires, wants, and needs, that despite the discomfort, we will be victorious on the other side. Okay, so I got Star Mother. How can you mother yourself? I think this is such a wonderful card for right now, because whether you have a mother wound or not, I think it is so valuable for us to learn how to self-soothe, especially as we are navigating these potentially tumultuous times. To learn how to self-soothe and to learn how to really nurture and take care of ourselves. And I think this card literally says, like, in the guidebook, something along the lines of like wrapping yourself up and holding yourself like a tender baby. Like, literally. And this, I think, is a good journal prompt. It's just like, in what ways can you mother yourself? In what ways can you, what self-soothing techniques work for you when you're feeling overwhelmed, when you're feeling like you want to give up, when you're feeling like the dirty water is taking over the clear water? How do you mother yourself as you move through those hard times? Because a lot of times when those hard moments come up, those are often the times when we fall back on the patterns that we know, despite how we know they make us feel. We fall back on them because they feel comfortable. We fall back on them because we know that they put us in a space that, even if it's not good for us, we can rely on the feeling. Like, we know what the feeling is going to be. And so I think it's really important for us, or valuable for us, to learn how to mother ourselves, because that nurturing energy, that warm, intuitive guidance, it's within us. And if we learn how to nurture that, as we learn how to nurture that, we can really allow ourselves the space to find what is looking to be found. I'm going to read, something is telling me to jump here. Star Mother. It's on page 48. That might be relevant for somebody. You are more held than you could possibly imagine. Loved and cherished so dearly that if you knew, you would not spend 1 second of your life in separation, worry, or fear. Let the mother carry your burdens. Let her rock away your fears. Lay all of your worries, regrets, shame, and guilt at her altar. Please, please, sweet child, do not fear. You are love in motion. If you allow it, you are already healed. Let her remind you of your goodness. Let her love away your fears. Your capacity to love and hold others is limited to your capacity to love and hold yourself. Your capacity to love and hold others is limited to your capacity to love and hold yourself. Be compassionate with your sweet body, mind, and soul. Treat yourself like the beautiful spirit that you truly are. Remind yourself that you are doing your best and try not to carry it all on your own. You have got this, and the mother has got you. Let her broad arms take away your burdens. Let her lift the weight of the world off your shoulders. Forgive yourself, my dear sweet child of the earth. How can you mother yourself? Okay, and then there's this beautiful photo of a woman who is wrapped in the arms of the moon. The moon is Cancer energy, astrologically. It represents the 4th house. The mother represents, or the 4th house and Cancer represents the mother, nurturing your roots, the home that you live in, this feeling of finding home, of being home. And I feel like so many of us are seeking home and looking for home in so many different places. But this card really wants us to know and trust that there is a home within ourselves. And finding that, tuning into that, tapping into that, and understanding that that is a gold mine within yourself, that is a very valuable thing that we can do right now is to learn how to connect with the mother within all of us. And I think this is a beautiful card to end on. November Sanctuary. And so this woman is chilling at home with her cat. She's looking out the window. The moon is there. She has a candle lit. She's got her books. She's got a cup of tea. She's like just looking at the nature outside. She's got her little Christmas lights up. Or she's just got lights. She's got lights up, but she's so cozy and she's so comfortable. And I think this card is perfect with what we were just talking about finding that home within yourself, connecting to that home within yourself. Because as things start to shift out here, it's going to be so valuable for us to understand, know, and trust what's going on here internally. And to know that if we have no one, we have ourselves. And knowing that that is such a beautiful thing to have. It's the most beautiful thing to have is yourself. And there is beauty in aloneness. And of course we want to be around other people. I'm not saying don't be around other people. I'm just saying that the amount of love that we are able to give to others is limited to the capacity that we are able to give ourselves. And so as we find that home within ourselves, as we find that love within ourselves, as we are going through this potentially destructive and uncomfortable awakening, knowing that as you tap into that space, that sacred space within yourself, you will then be more equipped not only to take care of yourself and to elevate yourself to the heights that you wish to go, but you will, in such a beautiful way, be able to change the world by energetically bringing people with you. And that is so beautiful. And that's the world I want to live in. I want to live in a world full of people that love themselves deeply and dearly. And that is so revolutionary because so many of us have been taught to hate ourselves. Like, that's the programming that we have. And so as we're dismantling that, know that it won't be easy, but it'll always be worth it. I did not pull an affirmation card. I'm going to end with one. Generosity. I give generously to those around me, no matter how much or how little I have. I know there's more than enough to go around, and the key is to allow it to keep going around without stopping. If I stop the flow, I'm like the one person at the stadium who doesn't do the wave. And so as we find and tap into that generosity with ourselves, we can start to really pour that out effortlessly. And that is exciting. So I hope you guys have a wonderful week. Take care of yourselves. Happy holidays to everyone. I think I'll be back before the new year, if not on New Year's. But have a wonderful week, you guys. Take care. No is a complete sentence. I don't know who needs to hear that, but somebody's spirit team wanted you to know that no is a complete sentence. As you move into the holiday season, you ain't got to say shit to nobody about nothing you don't want to talk about. And oftentimes people get upset when we put down boundaries because they can no longer benefit from us in the way that they want. So keep that in mind as you move forward through the week. I hope you guys have an amazing week, and I will talk to you on Monday.